If you have watched my previous video, What's It Like to Live with a Bronzewing Parrot, you'll know that I've been looking for a companion for bonsai or 2-year-old bronzewing. Well, I've just found one. It's a male Blue Headed Pionus, which we've named Magik, spelled with a K, and it's just a baby. In this video, you won't see him doing much, as he's just got here and is currently getting used to his new surroundings. He's going to be in quarantine for a month due to the fact we have another parrot in the house. My next video will probably be about the quarantine, so subscribe if you're interested. I'm very happy that bonsai will finally have a companion. Hopefully it will get on well. I'd been looking for a buddy for him since early spring. Last year, when bonsai turned 1, I already knew that it would be happier with another bird, but I just couldn't look for one yet because we were about to move house and to a different country. This year, however, I knew I absolutely had to find him one because the longer you wait, the more your bird is likely to reject a companion. My preference was a rescue bird, but there aren't many bronzewings that need rehoming. Eventually, I found one in the south of France, a 2-year-old female, which would have been ideal for bonsai with the same age. She was not in a rescue, she was still with her owner, who told me that if she was to sell, it would be to me only because she liked the setup I made for bonsai and she thinks the two birds would be happy together. Right now, she can't really give the bird the best of life since she has to walk during the day and the bird is alone. The only issue was the distance. This bird was a 14-hour drive from where I live. I've done the same distance with bonsai recently over 2 days and it went okay, but bonsai knows me. This female is bonded with her owner. So here comes a new person who takes her away from the only friend she has, and our first 2 days together are going to be 14 hours of driving inside a transport carrier. Not the best way to start a relationship. Quite frankly, it might have worked if her owner had brought her to me. This way, it would have been a lot less traumatic for her. I did not ask, as it's a lot to ask. It is a long distance. There is one really positive thing that came out of talking to her though. I found out that she was feeding her only seeds, and those were a fatty seed mix designed for African parrots. Not good. So I explained to her it would be much better for a bird to eat mostly pellets. I sent her an Amazon link for the pellets I use, as well as seeds suitable for pionuses, and I was pleasantly surprised that she listened and purchased both. So I am really happy that thanks to us talking, her pionus is now eating more healthily and hopefully will live a longer, happier life. Apart from that one rescue bird, the only other option was to get a baby. I found a bronzewing breeder in Germany who had eggs. I waited for a month, only to find out that the eggs were non-fertile. Then I found another bronzewing breeder near Grenoble in France, quite far from here unfortunately, who also had eggs. So I waited for another month, and once again, all of them were non-fertile. Bad luck. Then I was informed of a shop, not too far from where I live, that often has bronzewings. I would prefer to get a baby directly from a breeder rather than from a shop, but beggars can be choosers. I looked on his website, no bronzewings. So I called him up and he said he would have some babies later on. He asked me to call back in 5 weeks when the eggs open. Fair enough, I waited and called him exactly 5 weeks later. At that point he told me that there were only 2 babies and they were going to some people who had been on the waiting list for longer than I was. Frustrating. We were getting to the end of the summer and bonsai still didn't have a companion. The guy from the local store told me he actually had some blue-headed pionuses. So I went to see them, since this shop is just half an hour away. Gorgeous birds. And then I came back home to think about it. It is such an important decision as this bird can live 30 to 40 years. On one hand, I don't think birds belong in a shop. But on the other hand, I thought to myself, no, I can't make bonsai wait another year. So 48 hours after my first visit, I went back to the store and got one of the 2 males that they had. They also had a female, but then there could be babies, and most people seem to agree that interspecies breeding is not recommended. The 2 species are closely related though, so I'm not sure if that would be too much of an issue, but still, it clearly would be better with another bronzewing. In any case, I'm not even sure if I would want bonsai to have babies, since he is hand-raised and probably not the best parent. Sure, I could take over if need be, and raise the babies myself, but that is a lot of knowledge to gain beforehand and also a lot of work. Not just that, but if I were to let bonsai have a female partner, then I would feel a bit obliged to do the same for Magik, and that would double the amount of work and worries. So for the time being, at least, it's just 2 males. I will keep Magik in quarantine, and I will show you how it's going on in my next video. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I will read them with interest. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you again very soon.